Welcome to the Trash Talk Business Podcast, episode 13, where we talk everything you need to know about the junk removal business. If you're looking to grow, scale, get in, get out, wherever you want to go, that's my best Bob Euchre. Get out of here. Trash Talk Business Podcast is the place to be. We may even talk a little trash. Today, as always, I'm Andy Weins, joined by Casey Bubba Lawrence, who is joining us from somewhere tropical. His hat matches. And we have a guest, as one does, Griffin, Parriott, like Marriott, not related, up in the Twin Cities. So we are representing Florida, Wisconsin, and the greater Minnesota region all at once. Casey, what are we talking about today?
I think we're going to get to know Griffin a little bit. I think I talked to him a little bit before we started recording, and he is very curious about how we got out of the truck. He is at the stage where his next step is to get the fuck out of the truck. So let's help him do it.
Let's call it episode 13, get out of the fucking truck. Griffin, talk a little bit about where you're at, how long you've been in business, and then start rapid firing some questions and concerns. This will be we've had people that have not been in the industry, people that have been in the industry or wanting to get in the industry, and now we have someone that's been in the industry for a short period. So let's jam. Where are you at in your business? How long you been in? And what are your goals? Let's get into it.
So we've been in about a little over 6 months. This is our first calendar year. First calendar year, first couple months in Minnesota is pretty brutal. That January, February,
Yep.
We're pretty slow. We've been starting to pick it up. Like last month was our best month. We did about 25,000 for the month with one truck. So that's been our busiest month here yet. So we're kind of picking up and just kind of looking, at what point do you either get another truck or you get two guys out there so I can get off and start doing stuff to start grow it, because I'm not trying to be
that right there. The last thing you said is the first step.
I'm not trying to be going with one other guy just running around the cities by the next 20 years in a truck like some guys.
Well, so let me ask you a question. Which way are you leaning? Are you leaning another truck route, or are you leaning two guys, you out route?
I think next step would be I'd maybe still stay in one, get another truck, but I still man in one. And then the guy that's I've been trained to kind of take over a truck. He does one.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd still be running one while we got two, and then until we get some more guys trained in, and then they can take over that second one.
Now, why is that?
I just don't want to be getting two trucks, but I wasn't really sure if there's like a metric or something to know when you don't want to be too thin with two trucks.
Well, and I think, I'm not trying to interrupt you, but the reason why I asked you that, why do you want, or why in your mind are you thinking about staying in a truck and just adding another truck, when honestly right now your next step should be fulfilling one truck completely with two guys or a crew, and you're on the outside of it, right? Because, and Andy is going to talk a lot about this as well, but it's so easy to get excited about growth because you're like, holy shit. For one, you're like, dude, this thing works. Look at us. We're doing the thing. We're being successful. People like us. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh no, we get to grow. Let's add another truck. How cool would it be to have two trucks? Well, here's the downside to that. I'm not going to tell you yet. I want you to listen to Andy too, but the downside to adding another truck, right now you're trying to figure out how to fill one truck with two guys that isn't yourself. When you have two trucks, now you got a minimum of four guys, right? And then you're going to need a backup because one of them is not going to work out. This one's going to get sick a lot. And this is probably maybe a good crew. So you actually need about 6 just to fulfill two trucks, I think, on a regular basis. So, Andy, you want to go off from here, but I think where your head's at is good. But the answer I would personally go is step out of the truck, put two guys in it, and start working on the business now that you're out of it.
Yeah, what is the long term? I mean, is this a 2-3 truck operation where you get to sit back and hang out in the office, or is this a behemoth that goes across multiple markets? Where do you want to go?
I'm trying to go like Midwest, big markets in the Midwest there. But I'm not trying to grow. I'd rather master one market before, than have two trucks here 2 over there, just kind of spreading out thin.
Mm-hmm.
So at first I'd like to grow this, multiple trucks, kind of max out how many trucks we get in the Minneapolis metro area before going around, but we'd like to be in multiple locations throughout the Midwest.
Okay, and that's a very important question and distinction. One of my mentors, Carl Munkwitz from First Weber, my first probably month in business. I didn't even know I couldn't even spell realtor at the time. Still struggle. I always want to add a couple letters in there.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah, I know, right? Carl Munkwitz, this is what he told me when I first started. He said, if you're going to be big, be big. If you're going to be small, be small. The problem is a lot of people get in the middle and die in the vine. And I have seen this time and time and time again in junk removal space. You either have less than 3 trucks or more than 10. In between is tough. And Casey and I lived in between world. And yeah. 10 doesn't have to be all in one location, but the point is you can run a truck yourself. Got it? Simple. You as an owner-operator, I would argue you can manage 3 crews.
Yes.
Right? You can bring in enough sales. You can do the operations. You can oversee. You can hire the guys. 3 crews.
But it's
4 crews.
That's a tricky spot, though, because now at that size, here's where you have to have. Now you're going to have back end.
Correct. You still need a number 2. Even at 3 crews, you need a number 2. You need a strong operations person that's in the office all day, or you need a really strong field person, right? And then you're still doing business development, right? You haven't hired a BD person yet. The reason I asked that, I also know a very successful guy, Ray Hill, down in Elmhurst, Illinois. I've known him for years. He has a 2-truck operation. He has 4 or 5 employees. Wife answers the phone at home. He goes to work every day, and he makes money. He's happy, right? That's his operation. He does a little bit of BD stuff. He invests in new tools and equipment as needed. He has a full-time job, and he's happy. So you can do a 2-3 truck operation and be successful. So I'm not going to knock that. The challenge is where you're at. You're at critical mass. Yeah. I know more people that are 1 truck, they figured it out, then the next decision they make is critical it worked or critical it didn't. They buy the 2nd truck, but they don't feel confident enough in the first crew, so they're checking up on the crew, and then they don't really run a crew themselves, and now they've just doubled the truck expense, done more BD, but they still got the finger on the button all day. That you can do that, right? But now you're an owner-operator. You can make $75,000 to $100,000 a year, but you will never expand beyond that because you are the business. Or they get 2 or 3 crews going, the quality slips, they don't know how to manage the operations because they're trying to manage the operations from the field or from the office, and they're not spending enough time in the other place. And now you're doing this balance game, and I fucking hate balance, right? Yeah. I'm a big fan of alignment, right? You have to find somebody else in your organization that can align with you. I was very fortunate from day one to have my brother on board. He worked in the business. I worked on. He took care of the crews and trained them. I made the phone ring. I took care of operations. He took care of customers. We had very clear understanding of what he did and what I did. Casey was fortunate enough to start his business with his mom and his stepdad. Again, they had their lanes, a plan, right? And they stayed in their lanes. And when there was conflict, Casey, why was there conflict between you and your mom?
Well, mainly because it was my fucking mom. But
I love your mom. I love your ma, but it's because she got in your shit. She would tell you how to run your right. Okay, your lane.
Yeah. And get this. So Griffin, so my mom and I started, and you and I can talk about my story later, but we started in a very rough patch because it was really new for both of us, and I lived with her at the time. So like I started in her fucking kitchen, and I had to get used to how she does shit, just like she had to get used to me. Well, we're both very headstrong. And we both are like, hey, we're drivers. So one of us has to be the passenger, and we don't want that. But I realized, this is crazy, but I realized after we sold the business, my new business venture I was doing, the one thing, and this is what my wife brought up, the one thing she did great, she held me accountable. Now, it was fucking annoying, and it sucked because there was times where she's like, hey, so good morning for one, right? Like first thing in the morning, 8 a.m., whatever, when I get to the office, she's like, hey, so what do you have planned for today? What's your agenda this week? What are you doing Tuesday? And it was annoying as shit. But you know what's funny? It was holding me accountable. So I had to answer those questions. So like even you having someone that you can have a conversation with, like I could do it with Andy. Hey, Andy, here's what I need you to do. Blah, 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 blah. I'm going to be pissed at you. I'll probably cuss you out a couple times. but get over it. And he'll be like, cool, yeah, no problem. I'm going to call you here, here, and here. That's what you need. You need someone in the business that can help you be accountable for things, because
in or on. They could be on the business because you're in it, right? It's in or on. You got to look at what your strengths are and the strengths of the other person. Now, as the owner, you got to be able to do both, right? I can go hop in a truck right now and go bang jobs. I can sit down in operations and do it. I can do it, all right? And it's going to be slow. I ain't going to be able to walk tomorrow, right? I'm getting old. But my point is, you got to be able to do both. Yeah. Whoever you hire, whatever slack they have, that's where you got to pick up. Ideally, you'll hire someone that has the opposite strengths to you, right? I look at a business, it's 6 buckets. It's only 6. It's the pre, right, which is the before the phone rings. That's your marketing and sales. Mm-hmm. It's the post, operations, and the thing, in this case, junk removal, right? And then the after, HR and finance, right? And those 2 different buckets. What, right? You got to figure out, of those 6 things, what are your strengths, what aren't your strengths, and who you can hire to fill in those strengths. So getting the number 2 is key, right? So we'll start there, right? You asked very early, when is it time to make the decision? My argument is north of $10,000 a month, because north of $10,000 a month, you are beyond break even. You are making money. So between 10 and 20 is when you got to make a decision, because once you get past 20, now you are, like you said, you're already at critical mass standpoint. 25,000 a month, you are at critical mass. You either can't do enough jobs because you're limited with 1 truck and the inefficiencies of only having 1 truck and 1 crew, or you're limited because once you cap out and you're cranking at 30 grand, you can't do all the shit in the other buckets, the marketing, the sales, the HR hiring guys, or the finance, to know where your money's going. So you're just so fucking deep in it, you don't even know what's going on your flanks, right? Wars are lost on your flanks. Yeah. Most people know how to pick up the phone and schedule a job and then go bang a job. If you can't do that, we haven't even made it to go. Okay? The challenge is you lose on the flanks. What are the first things that go? You're not even thinking about fucking finance. You don't even think about your P&L statement until it's the end of the year. Or you're like, oh yeah, I just had some marketing stuff and I don't know, just money comes out every month. You have no fucking clue. Those are the flanks that'll die first. After that, it's your sales on this flank and HR on this flank. So you need somebody to protect your flanks. Either you're out there protecting them or somebody else is. So my point is, right now at $25,000 a month, obviously inflation is there, whatever, right? How many hours a week are you currently running on the truck to do $25,000 a month?
Probably 25 hours.
Okay. That's
25, 30.
I guess
some days are more.
Okay. That's loading, unloading, training crews.
Probably, because I'd say we worked on average for that last month. It was probably 5 days a week at 7, probably 30, probably closer to 30, 35 hours probably.
Okay. So Casey said 40. Okay. Now, how many hours a week are that's fine. 35, 40, right in that range.
Yeah.
How many hours are you working on the marketing plan or the sales of the organization? Going to networking events, meeting with vendors?
Or are you?
Not as much as I'd like to.
Okay. That's not the answer.
Give me 2 hours maybe a day.
Yeah. 2 hours a day. Okay.
Maybe. Yeah.
So 10 hours a week on a good week.
Yeah.
And then what are you spending on the other end? Looking at your numbers, reviewing your numbers, hiring employees, HR functions.
I mean, just alone responding to customers. I'm doing that while I'm
no customers. Employees. That's employees. I'm talking employees and looking at your numbers.
Admin shit.
Probably another hour, close to an hour a day, maybe.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, so let's just break it down, Barney style. You got 35 hours here in the truck. You got maybe 10 hours here, sales and marketing and sales, and 5 hours over here, HR and finance. So this is what I'm talking about, critical mass. Right now, you want to say, oh, I need another truck, but you're not investing the time to find the right employee, train the right employee, set the expectation, see where your monies are going, and you won't, because at $25,000 a month, you got to keep the engine fed, right? You don't want to say no to customers. So my argument is you needed a truck 2 months ago, right? We can't do it 2 months ago, so today sounds good, right? Going into that 20, you're like, good. Or you say, you know what? I'm going to perfect this thing, and I'm going to just govern it. I'm only going to take $25,000 to $30,000 a month in revenue in the summer here while we're peaking, and I'm going to perfect the shit out of this thing, and I'm not even going to fuck around until next spring. That is a option, because what you don't want to do is go buy a truck, hire a crew, train a crew, get potentially an operations person or another element, right? Another key personnel in your business. And then the fucking snow flies about, I don't know, the second week of October, if not the first. And now you haven't done what you haven't done what you needed to do to be successful. Because whatever's happening in your business today is a direct result of what you did in the last 90 days. So right now we are mid-July. If you start that process today, when it comes to fruition, the snow is flying. I had a franchise up in White Bear Lake, Vandus Heights. I always call it Vandals Heights. I don't know why I like the word Vandals. Little
like
Canada, Fridley.
Like mattress charges?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Oh, yeah. 40. What was it? Oh, stupid case. No, God. The transfer station, $35 a fucking mattress, $25 a sofa. Oh my God. Weight didn't matter. Yeah.
I just I cut those mattresses up and get them for free and just scrap the insides. Basically what I do. But that's time consuming. That's time consuming too. We took 7 mattresses yesterday. That would have been almost $250 in recycling charges.
All right. Now we're getting in fucking tangent world.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. How long did it take you to cut apart 7 mattresses?
Because I got to do the box springs count too. So I'd say it's like 3 to 5 minutes a mattress.
Oh, that's good. All right, that's good. If you sub 5, right? So sub 5 minutes. There's actually a really good Cheddar video. Like the best mattress recyclers are sub 4 minutes, right? And that's like a weird fucking random stat. How long does it take you to take apart a mattress? We did that here. First mattress took over 20 minutes. We got it down to like 5-6 minutes. Still wasn't fucking worth it. I ship them down to Illinois. Actually, now I'm down to once a week. I ship out about 30 to 40 mattresses down to Illinois. It used to be about 120 a quarter.
Did you get paid, Andy, or was that free? Free.
Wait, if I drop them off, it's whatever. It's free either way, or they'll send a truck. But if they send a truck, it's got to be a 53-footer. It takes me 2 hours to fucking load about 120 mattresses for 4 guys, and they're pissed off the whole time. Now, I put it on a 24-foot truck that I own. I have a route I run down to Chicago every day anyways. So it's about a 15, 20-minute deviation. So and I load it with a forklift. It takes 10 minutes to load it with a forklift. So I don't piss off my guys. I eat the fuel and the disposal, or not disposal, sorry. I eat the fuel and the labor. Yeah. And they unload them on their end. So anyways, the dump fees at the transfer station are insane.
Real quick. So Andy has that luxury, right? So I did not. And I did a lot of researching. Don't even fucking care. I did a lot of researching, and I actually found a buyer for all my shit mattresses, okay? And they recycled all of them. It was insane. But they're like, hey, we'll pick them up. The more you have, the better. So we actually had a container. We'd stuff them full of mattresses, and it was full. I'd call them. They'd come out there, and they would give me $5 a unit. It started off at like $2 a unit, and then I maxed out at $5 a unit. You're not making money on the back end, but you ain't spending it either. And they come in, they'd load a truck, and then they would haul it away for me.
Again, this is I just was earlier today. I was doing a consulting gig, and they're like, "How important are regional differences in junk removal?" I'm like, "Oh my God, get a pen and a piece of paper, Jack." Right? So in Casey's world, the mattress is worth $5. In my world, it's worth $0, and your world is worth negative $35.
The TV, $60 to $90 at our transfer station. Get rid of it.
Yeah, so we found a place that we'd have to pay still for the 2. Yeah, but it was $10.
I found a place for $10 now. Yeah, I just throw them in my SUV and act like I'm the county place and just
correct. For years. So that is okay. This is a great question, or not? This is a great segment, right?
Yeah,
it's okay. I was about to get to how many you can take at a time. 3 at a time.
Yeah, probably. It's another hour of my time too that could be. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
how long can you keep that up?
Correct. That is unsustainable. Yeah. Right now, I actually just went down and counted. I have 13 Gaylords worth of tube TVs. Right, and that's after my side hustle guy came and picked up 20 TVs yesterday. right? So the side hustle guys, I used to be chucking a truck on Craigslist. I ain't no shame in that game,
No.
right? But the only problem is, like you just said, it's your SUV, it's your time, it's your back, it's your fucking resources, not a sustainable business. So you eventually upgrade to getting a forklift and a box truck or a Gaylord, right? You figure it out. Depending on where you are in your business, you don't start with all the fucking bells and whistles. One of the challenges I had when I was launching franchises across the country was I started a bunch of franchisees with all the bells and whistles. They never had to learn how to fucking hustle. And that's the beautiful thing about you. You are figuring it out that you're right. That you can have a little side hustle here, side hustle there, but an hour a day, right? You're spending just as much time fucking around with TVs as you are recruiting, retaining, hiring employees in HR, right? And which is going to grow your business more? The hour fucking around with those 3 TVs or finding the next best person to be your business partner? And these are the challenges that people have in junk removal. We all get the same 168 hours in a week. We got to sleep. We got to eat. We got to shit. We got to shower, right? That's got to fucking happen. So what are you going to do with those 60, 70, 80 hours? They're not sleeping, shitting, showering, eating. That should be a goddamn hashtag right there, right? That is what differentiates. If you are chasing TVs around, you're not going to be able to scale. It is an unrepeatable process. So it gets you by, but now it's an expense because you're chewing up your time versus investing that time in a way to get more time back. So let's go back to where we were 15 minutes ago, which was your question. $25,000 a month. You got one employee, right? One guy?
One full time, then another guy for like bigger house. Like if we got a house clean out, someone will find some. I got a couple other guys on the side.
Gotcha.
The one guy,
truck
full time.
Truck trailer.
One full time, yeah.
Okay, what is your equipment? Trucks, trailers. What do you got?
We just got a box truck.
A box truck. How big? How many cubic yards?
It's the 15-footer.
15 by what?
I think it's 20 cubic yards, I think. It's like this. If you just picture, it's like the old U-Haul, or not old, but it's like the standard size U-Haul. We stripped it down, wrapped it up.
All right, so a standard box truck is 7 by 7 by 15. All right, so I'll teach everybody here real quick. This is how you figure out cubic yardage. If you don't know how to figure out cubic yardage or cubic feet to cubic yards, you do length times width times height divided by 27. There you go. That's your free math lesson of the day. All right, so according to you, if it's 7 by 7 by 15 foot, that's 27 cubic yards.
Yeah, I thought it was 24 when I did the math.
Well, let's just say it's 24. At 24 yards, what's your price for a full truck?
Right now we're at 700.
Okay, so that is $29 a yard. Is what you're looking at, right? Now, Andy runs trucks. I used to run trailers. For me, it worked great because of where I was. Honestly, what I was doing, the market calls for it down here in Texas, from brush, brick, concrete, bullshit, construction, trash, you name it. You're not one to touch that shit twice. But,
no, I don't. Yeah, we don't do that right now. Anyway.
Right, so that's fine. But Andy could attest to the box truck more. He has it all down to a science.
I fucking love box trucks. Actually, this was part of that consulting conversation that said, what would you rather have, a bunch of small trucks or a couple big trucks? I'll take big trucks all fucking day. But that's because it works in my market, and we also got snow 6 months of the year. So if you want to not get fucked, right, when it's snowing or raining, you got to have a box truck or at least enclosed. Okay, so hillbilly math says you're hauling, if you're doing $25,000 a month, right, your average is $700. Or sorry, your price is what? $700 for a full truck?
For a full, yeah.
Okay, what's a half?
$450.
That's all right.
I don't love it, but that's just me. I don't like the delta there. What's a quarter trailer?
$250.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah,
what's your minimum?
What's your minimum? What's a single item?
$125.
Yeah,
you got to raise your full truck price. That's 100%.
Well, and just look at yardage. So here's the cool thing: no matter how big the trailers that we used, I had 16 and 18 yard trailers. Our yardage. Here's how I priced my full trailer was different because of the size, but my yard rate was the same, right?
Yeah. So kind of what with having the bigger truck, when I talk with people, they just when I'm trying to like not sell them, but I'm just talking to them, I say like 700 for a full truck, and they're already, if they hear, oh, I got a full truck price from, a guy with 18 cubic yard, and that they're already shut off in their mind when they hear 700 for the full. A lot of times,
it's because
before you even start explaining it.
Yeah, and that's common, man, and that's common.
That's why the industry standard is 16. Well, 800 got junk is at 14.3 cubic yards. Junk King's at 18.
18,
and everybody else is in between at 16.
Yeah,
we always run at 16, but Junk King's at 18. 800 got junk. It's at 14.3. It's 5 by 8 by 7. I think theirs is. But I would argue that or not 5 by 8 by 7. What the fuck is it? It's 5 by 7 by 12. That's going to drive me nuts. What theirs were. It's been a little bit 12 times.
Well, and to rebuttal the customer on that, not to argue with them, but to give them more insight to 15. You. Say, hey, look, they may have offered you a cheaper price, but, and I mean, you could do this on your phone. I've done this before. I've literally looked up the company and be like, okay, looks like they have 15 yards. Well, I'm offering X amount of yards at this price,
Or I would just, or what you do. This is how I fucking do it. My trucks, my box trucks are they're 32 cubic yards. They're 7 by 7 by 18. They're 32 cubic yards. I tell them that's 2 trailers. That's my price. 2 trailers.
Yeah.
So if I was you, I would price it based off of your competition, right? So if they're at 700 a trailer, you want to go, or we'll call it a trailer. I just use trailer. I always use that no matter what truck size I'm using. It's a trailer. Be at 650, but you had 24 cubic yards. That's equivalent to a trailer and a half on the 16 cubic yard model.
Yeah. So do that math, and you'll find out real quick. You're really underpriced.
So now I'm just doing hillbilly math, right? Hillbilly math says based on your pricing, you're charging $100 service fee, right? And between $25 and $40 a yard, roughly, right? So your single item is $125, right? So let's just do simple math, right? $100 to show up, got it good, done. Okay. So now you're charging $25 for that first cubic yard, right, or first item. Okay, so here I'm gonna now follow the bouncy ball math. You know what? I'll just fucking screen share. This is how I do it.
Well, real quick, I just did it real quick on my phone. So you're at $29 a yard. If you just raised it $3 or $4, you're already competing and you're already making an extra $100 a truck.
Yeah,
and it's still underpriced as far as competition goes.
I just want to tell me when you all can see my screen.
We can see your screen, sir. Oh, now you can see a lot bigger of a background behind me.
Oh, you look good. You look good. Not bad. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to start running numbers. Okay, and so when I talked about your KPIs, right, a lot of people aren't investing in them, and that's where I want to take the time to invest in your KPIs. Hell, you know what? Why am I fucking reinventing the goddamn wheel here? I did this the other day for my own company. Let me just pull up. Let me stop the share. I'm just going to pull up the spreadsheet I already created with I need a fucking new window. All right, let me just pull this up. I was going to recreate the whole thing just to show you I know how to fucking Excel, but that's not as interesting. Casey, start talking about some shit while I go find this file I'm looking for.
So real quick, and this is just because I've been there. When we started, it was just me and the truck. And then a couple months went by, my brother joined me, and then it was me and my brother in the truck, right? Well, at that point, I remember my mom and I, we would have monthly meetings, of course, because we both own the business and it was important. We started thinking, okay, what's the next step? The next step is to get Casey out of the truck, mainly because I was the face. I was the driving power behind the company. And not just the veteran aspect, but people like to talk to me. Well, that was the struggle for me because I had built the company. I got out of the truck about 18 months, I want to say. And my biggest obstacle was, oh shit, well, what if they don't do it the way I did it? What if they don't know this? Well, the answer to all of that is fucking teach them, show them. If you're not out there trying to replace yourself daily, you're not going to grow and you're going to keep having to get dragged back into the fucking truck. So for instance, most of my business, on like big job, big opportunities, game-changing instances did not come from Facebook or a yard sign. It came from personal reaction, meeting people at a networking event, meeting people at a lunch or whatever the fuck. it couldn't have happened if I'm out there banging jobs. Now, in the first year, absolutely get out there, know your landscape, know your business, meet people as well, because you're going to be slow enough. You can pull all on the side of the road. We used to actually park in the middle of the fucking road because you have that turn lane, put our hazards on.
Yeah, no, that was to go get tacos.
And go get tacos because we're like,
God,
you can't miss this truck and trailer, you know?
Yeah.
But you had to do what you had to do. Now, the key, though, to the actual success part was having a structure, systems and processes, and then being accountable for them. Now, having someone to hold me accountable, it sucks. It's annoying. But, man, if I didn't, honestly, at that point, I think I would have ran into the ground. I don't think I could have been near where I was. So, like for you, for instance, you have to find that someone. And it could be either a total stranger or someone you absolutely trust with your life. The reason why I say those two, a total stranger, when you offer them that opportunity, that's the only thing they're going to do. Hey, I don't know this fucking guy. He's going to pay me to hold him accountable and do A, B, and C. Cool. But then someone you actually trust, well, they care about you too. They're like, hey, look, if this is important to him, I'm going to make sure I'm there. I'm going to make sure hey, Griffin, look, it's fucking 7 o'clock. Are you up? No, I'm not. Well, you need to get up. You need to do A, B, and C. Make sure you check your emails before you leave the house. Make sure you do this. I know it sounds stupid, but dude, it's key. And that's literally how you get out of the truck, because you're going to start realizing when you're in the truck, you're worth about $15 an hour. You can't survive on $15 an hour, can you? But when you're out of the truck, you're worth about $500 an hour, because now hey, you know what? This business just went from being 25 grand a month to 45 to 55. And then you're going to have problems like I had a problem, $60,000 in payroll. You know how much that fucking sucks? Like, holy shit, right? And you're looking at like, look at our profit. We made like $10. You know what? We made a profit. That's actually cool. But then you have those problems, but they don't happen unless you're out of the truck, right? You're never going to reach that amount because you're going to be in the truck. You can control that. But you need to reach that amount in order to have your revenue up here. 60 grand in expenses, 150 up here. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the only way to do it. You got to get out of the truck. Trust. You got to trust in yourself to teach and train those that you hire.
All right. So here we are. I took my pricing product spreadsheet, bunch of other shit, churched it up. So now we're in a good place for what we're doing here today. All right. So I'll talk you through this real quick. So this is
you're so too
simple.
Cheap, Andy. By the way, just saying.
By the way, all right. So this is I was just looking at what would happen if I increased my pricing. Right. That's what I did. This is what I have this spreadsheet for. What I want to talk to you about, right? So I'm going to keep this up here in case I have to reference back because I fucked up my damn numbers. Okay. So right now you're telling me your full trailer, right? The way you're doing it as we sit, I'm going to make another copy because I'm going to fuck with that here.
716.
All right. So right now as it sits, your full trailer is 24 cubic yards. We talked about that, right?
Yeah.
So that means your half trailer is 12. All right. We got 3/4 trailer is 16, right? And 8. That sounds about right. Right? No, 6. Hold on. No, quarter trailer is 6. Why was my brain not working? That should be 18. See? The whole, right? Is my math right? Is that good math? 24 divided by 4. Yep. All right. Yep. Yeah. All right. There we go. Good. All right. Good math. Okay. So now what you're telling me is you're at 125. Don't worry about the shit to the right. That's just actually all this shit. I'm just getting rid of all this shit. Nope. Oh yeah. I'm gonna get rid of this stuff. And I'll keep it. Fuck it. I know what I'm looking at. I don't want you to get overwhelmed here. I did everything at 99 because it's just that's how my brain works. Because my single items were $99 forever and a day. They always were. I just changed them for the first time ever. Okay, so you have 125, 250, 450. What's your 3/4 truck?
575.
575 and 700 even. Okay, so point here, right? You are charging $25 a cubic yard. That's what you're telling me. That's what your cubic yard pricing is. Let's make sure my math looks good. Yep, good math. Okay. So you're charging 100. So you're actually, what's interesting is your number one SKU. This is why I told you your price was off, because I hate this fucking 450 number. I love and I hate it. Here's why I love and I hate it. Half trailers are probably going to be the thing that you sell the most of. And right now, that's your highest priced thing. So I love it because that's that, hey, if you're going to sell something, you're going to sell a shitload of something, make that your highest priced thing. I hate
value.
Great. I hate it because you're charging more per cubic yard for a half trailer than you are a quarter trailer.
Yeah.
So my argument here, right? That's why I don't like it. Right? We just make this 275.
Mm-hmm.
Look how that hillbilly math works, right? Like that now we're, again, because I don't want to negatively impact people. Right there, it is 625. Right? I don't want to negatively impact people that want to do more. Right? That's just where I'm at. So I just don't love that price because
look at the full trailer price, how it goes up when you kept adding the suit.
Correct. So I said, right, again, when we were just farting around, I said 800, right? Look at that.
Yeah.
29.17. Like, that's how quick, right? Like, I didn't know what the price was. I was like, $30 or whatever. Check the fucking tapes, right? I said about 30, right? So, again, because this is the KPIs part of your business. This is where a lot of people don't do it. This is what I look at, right? And then understand your fucking numbers because this matters, right? So, my argument here is I'm okay with your pricing, right? $30 a cubic yards. I'll also show you my pricing. It's I get almost $40 a cubic yard. That's what I get.
And see what we did, we kept it flat rate. I mean, we literally kept it flat rate. We said, hey, if we're going to charge this amount per yard, that's our pricing for this.
That's it.
Quarter, half, correct. 3/4. It is what it is. And the cool thing about that, here's why it makes sense. The biggest, and this is what I told my last consultation, the biggest competition, it's not the big companies, honestly. Not for us, it wasn't. No. It was the no-names who can always undercut you. Now, when I come up to you and I'm like, hey, let's say you're my customer, and you're like, hey, how much for a full trailer? Well, I'm going to charge you $500 for my full trailer, but it's a 10-foot dump trailer and only has 2-foot walls. Well, if you do the math on that, that's nothing. That's actually way expensive because my trailers were actually 12 feet, 6 foot tall, 6 foot wide, right? Giving me 16 cubic yards, and my prices may have been $600 or whatever, but then you break it down per yard, and you're like, look, here's the value you're getting. Now, you also want your pricing to lead to your valued price point. For us, we wanted 3/4 trailer or more because at 3/4 of a trailer, it was profitable as fuck. Now, half trailer may sound great, but here's the bad thing about half trailers and down. Well, a half trailer, what if your next job is a full? You're gonna have to go dump. You know what I'm saying? Or if you're at a half trailer, what if your next job is a half trailer? Well, what's your current pricing is $250 plus $250. So if you do 2 half trailer jobs, you're not even getting your full trailer price. So then you're like, well, shit, man. Like, how does that make sense? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you have to look at it. Where's the value at? How do you add the value? And how can you offer the value to your customer? You want it to lead to a full trailer. You want the customer to believe that, hey, look, the more shit you throw away, the more you save. Well, how is that, Andy? Well, here's how. My quarter trailer price is $225. My half trailer price is $350. My full trailer price is whatever the fuck. And then they're like, oh, wow, okay, so it's not really that much of a difference. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the KPI portion of it, the reason why it's important, you also have to look. Now, I know this is a lot of shit at you, but I don't care. I want you to hear it like this because this is how important it is you get out of the truck. But when you look at these numbers, then you start calculating time, right? Like, holy shit, I had 2 guys out for 10 hours, and we got 3 jobs that were a half trailer, quarter, and a full. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that was worth it? Hell no. That was a shitty day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You had 2 guys out for 10 hours. So you got to look at these numbers, and the only time you can actually look at these numbers and do the science stuff is when you're out of the truck. Go ahead, Andy.
This is your fucking nights and weekends. All right. Here we're gonna do some fucking hillbilly math because that's what I like. All right, this is as simple as it is. I actually, with the exception of one keystroke, I actually built the formula right. I really didn't think about it because normally no one's fucking watching when I'm building fucking formulas by myself. All right, here, okay. this is Casey's model. I don't do this model, but I don't dislike it because this is what you could. Here's your challenge. What you just said was, how do you get customers to buy? Because when you're like, well, my truck is this big, and if you just do flat rate, like, hey, everyone else does fucking a trailer price, I charge real simple. I charge this many dollars to show up. I charge this many dollars a yard. I don't care if you got one item or 24 fucking cubic yards. I charge that. Like, so this is Casey's model, right? So based off of that, if you want to charge $25 a yard, that's about what you're at. Okay, that's what you're at for your single item. That's what you're at for your quarter trailer. That's what you're at for your full. Right? It starts to get dicey when you started talking about your half and your 3/4 trailer. Right? Casey loves everything that's quarter and 3/4 trailer. He sent his guys out and back. I like fucking quarter trailer and half trailers all day. Because if I got a truck that can fit two full trailers, I can go bang 4 half trailers.
That's your truck, though, right?
Right, all day, right? This at $429 a piece, it's worth more. A half trailer is worth more than 2 half trailers worth more than 1 full trailer all day.
Well, that's if you look at so my pricing was 30. I was at when we got out, it was like $39.50 a yard. Okay, so let's just say $40 a yard. Look at the 3/4 price. Look at the half trailer price.
Yeah, because you got a big ass truck.
Right, but we had a trailer that was 16 cubic yards, not as big as that. So you kind of have to look at, well, at a 16 cubic yard rate, and you're charging what you do, is it worth going back to the yard and dropping off and then going right back out there to get a 3/4? Now, you have a big ass truck. Of course, you're gonna that works for your model, absolutely.
Yeah. And also you were taking a lot of loads direct to landfills or direct to scrap yards or direct to. I bring almost everything comes back here to be resold.
Remember, we were taking it to our yard. We weren't.
You're right. Yeah. Oh yeah, you got that. You got smart eventually. All right. So here is simple, right? This top chart here is your current truck size, right? Here is what your competition is doing, and so you can figure out, right? If we say 16 cubic yards average, if they say right now, if you're telling me that your competition is about $700 a yard, they're charging $35 a yard. Or I'm sorry, $37 a yard.
Okay, I'm sorry. I got to say something. I forgot my old pricing. It actually escalated downward. My bad. So we were at $40 a yard for a full trailer. At a half trailer, we're about $45 a yard.
Yeah. See.
Yeah.
This is where you start and you adjust accordingly.
Yeah.
Right. Like I said, the thing that irritates me about your pricing, Griffin, is the fact that you're penalizing people for a half trailer, right? Mm-hmm. The capitalist in me is like, fuck yeah, make the thing that you sell the most of cost the most. Fuck yeah, like America. But this is like you're fucking losing money at $25 a yard for a single item, and you're penalizing your best customer. I fucking love half trailers. It takes almost as much time to do a half trailer as it does a quarter trailer. Right? You got to show up. You got to fucking lower your gate. You got to, right? Like the time difference, it takes 15, 20 minutes. Let's say 20 minutes. It takes 20 minutes to load a half trailer. It takes 30, 35 to load a full. But you still got the time invested. Unload similar, because twice so much stuff doesn't slow you down in the unload. It's the fucking, I got to go potty. I got to get a snack. I got to smoke a cigarette. That's the shit that fucking burns your goddamn time. I know it. I got guys in the yard right now fucking stroking the dog, right? I love them. But I know them. And guess what? If I was back there, I'd be bullshitting and stroking the dog too. It's fucking hot.
Well, and from the time you pull up, that's the other thing you have to account for. Let's say you pull up to the house. By the time you finish, let's say a quarter trailer, that's why I did 30 minutes. Quarter trailer, you bang it out quick.
Right, you got 10 minutes. You got the 10 minutes on the front end and 5 minutes on the back end just to wrap with the customer and be a decent human being. Right?
Yeah.
So you're right. Blended average, quarter trailer takes you 30 minutes. Blended average, a half trailer takes you 45. 15 more minutes for $200 more.
Yeah.
You fucking teasing? It shouldn't be that drastic. So I'll send you this fucking sheet, but this is what I'm talking about. When people talk about key performance indicators, your KPI, your scorecard, finance, whatever the fuck you want to call it, I put in that last bucket of business. This is what people don't do. And the math doesn't fucking lie. Now, I'm not going to make an argument either way what you should do, but what you already indicated, and this is a challenge that we all have in this industry, is that there isn't one standard. So your competition's got 14, 16, 18 cubic yard thing, and cubic yard I say thing because it could be a truck, a box truck, fucking trailer. I don't care, 2 fucking pickup trucks with the Sanford and Side Sons, right? While you're out there banging a 24 cubic yard old U-Haul truck. You got to figure out your pricing so that you can articulate your value. It is a uphill climb if you want to tell, hey, everybody else prices it this way, I price it this way. It's difficult. If I was you, I would say, hey, I charge X number of dollars for a full trailer. However, my truck is a trailer and a half.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that fucking blindly. I'm saying that because I've been doing that for 6 years. And once I say, here's a trailer, there's a truck. See how much bigger that is? They're like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Capacity. Yep. Now,
So,
I know I build an efficient...
Your full truck won't even be a full truck for me.
Yeah. So when they say, oh, and when I pull in with my truck, they don't ask what size truck it is. And if they do, I'm like, oh, yeah, this is 2 full trailers. They're like, sounds good. Tell me when it's done. Because other than the 3 of us and a couple dozen people that listen to this podcast, nobody else is thinking about it. They just want to know how many dollars is it going to take for my thing to go away. That's all they want to know. Driving me nuts. I'll use my old price, and that's why.
This also gets in tune to how much it's costing you to do business as well. Because, I was fortunate enough, like Andy said, I came on into junk removal with my family, and my stepdad would sit down with us, and my mom and I, and going over numbers, right? I was completely ignorant when it came to business when I started, but I learned so much from them because they would take the time and say, hey, look, this is why we're charging what we charge. It's not just a fucking number that we just poof out of nowhere. It's based on a number of things like competition, our expenses, what is worth it for our time. And that, so, I really do encourage you to look at that whenever you sit down next time you have an hour or two, go over the numbers of your business. How much are you spending just to be in business? Like on a day where you don't make $1, how much did you just spend? Because that's a huge factor in how you price as well. Now, obviously there's inflation now, but even still, that's math. Like you can calculate the inflation and the fuel and all that bullshit. Now, I'd even go even further, and Andy can probably help you a little more. I never did business in the snow. We had one bad week last year that shut Texas down.
Jesus.
And, dude, I'll tell you this. It was it really was insane. Like, it was a whole week. It just froze. Everything. The worst thing we've ever seen. And that was the only time we actually went an entire week without business because we couldn't even do business.
Actually, here's my fucking story. We launched our franchise location in the Twin Cities on the 1st of April. We went up there on the 4th of April. They got like 18 inches of snow. And we were out there cold calling in the fucking snow, and half the businesses were closed and wanted nothing to do with us. So, yeah, that's Minnesota for you. I've done it. Like I said,
a huge factor too.
Like, you got 9 months at best. 9 months at best. Yeah, I haven't been up there. I haven't been up there in a couple of years in the hustle, but yeah, the Midwest is completely different. So, all right, we went all over the damn place. We spent some time here.
Well, this is important. This is what you have to be out of the truck to do.
Correct, right? But this is how quickly things in junk removal can spiral. One question of, well, what do you charge? Mm-hmm. Now we've done an entire exercise on just how do you price.
Yeah, I know.
And this is one of the arguments I've had when I was part of the franchise organization. They didn't do any of this shit. They didn't teach us this shit. They're like, hey, this is what this guy charges. Good luck. Right.
This is what we charge in Philly. This is what you should charge everywhere. And then you got a guy in California charging like almost triple for a full trailer. And then you think he's an idiot until you look at his numbers. You're like, oh, shit. Never mind.
So this is what's interesting is we're only talking about a hypothetical what you think you can get paid. To Casey's point, we're not factoring nights like I like 9s at the end of my number. All right, beautiful, right? There's a lot of things we're not even considering here. In fact, this is just a starting point. We haven't even looked at cost of goods. We haven't looked at inflation. We haven't looked at you're probably fucking
time. I mean, all that shit.
Like my simple argument. Did you buy your truck outright or do you have a lease? Okay, so you probably made close to 20 grand last month at 5,000. 50. Okay. Is that before or after you paid yourself?
Or do you pay yourself?
Yeah, you drop. No, that's fine.
Okay.
But my point is, if you have a truck that you bought and you're doing minimal marketing, right, you should be screaming at 60, 70% profitability, if not higher, if you're keeping all your expenses low. Now, if you're spending money on Google AdWords and some other stuff, because fuel disposal and your labor is all you got. What I was trying to say, if you're saying you're at 50% profitability, the second you walk out of that truck, you're going to be at 25% profitability. Because the guys are not going to run as hard as you are. You're going to have double the labor. You're also going to go out and spend money, networking, advertising, shaking hands, kissing babies, burning more fuel, not making money.
Yeah.
And you have to be prepared that you're going to go from 50% profitability down to 25% profitability. But then the goal is with truck number 2, you double the revenue. And now if you were making, right, 12.5, let's say you made 12.5 on that 25,000, it's going to take you 90 days to make $12,500 again. Because that's how long it's going to take you minimum to get a second truck up with a second crew and $50,000 in revenue at 25% profitability. Mm-hmm. And you keep repeating that and you find a rhythm where it makes sense on when you add trucks. That's how you do it. Or
I personally don't think you should add a truck right now. I think
I wouldn't. Not this time of year.
You get a full crew.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, yeah, maybe you get a second truck, but now, but not a second crew.
No.
You don't like that, Casey?
I mean, here's what I would do. I think if I was in the winter, so here's the thing. This is me speaking blindly because I haven't done business up north, but I would focus my off season on my back end products. So, more recycling, how do I get more efficient on the back end of things? Because you're fresh in the business, and the cool thing is, you're gonna have a full time crew. For me personally, I never let people go because I didn't do my job. I would ask them to have patience because, hey, look, man, this sucks right now. I get it. I'm not going to let you go. I'm not going to let you off. I'm asking you for patience. Go get another job if you have to, but don't think I'm letting you go. Now, the reason why I say that is because you're going to see when you start getting more efficient on the back end, you keep your guys as well, because now when it's snowing, I guess, like I said, I haven't been there, but when it starts getting shitty out, hey, John, look, today sucks outside. We don't really have many phone calls coming in, but I could really use someone separating A, B, and C or doing A, B, and C. And I think, I'm not saying get another crew, but I'm saying is what I would do this year, if hey, this month after this is going to suck, I would get a full crew up and going to where it's like all you do is check in with them. And at that point, if you have to get another truck, cool, but it's just going to sit for a couple of months, just to let you know. I'd start looking at my back end processes.
Yeah, as I say, I think what I would do if I was you right in this position, I get the second truck, but not a full second crew. You get a second truck, you take your part-time guy, and he either goes to full-time, or you get another full-time guy, and then what you do is your part-time guy, you and your part-time guy bang jobs 15, 20 hours a week, so you can supplement your existing crews. So on the bigger jobs, you're there. On the day of fucking job, someone calls, I need this shit done, you fucking make them happy, right? Make your realtors and everybody else happy. And you keep your other crew running the whole time because you can make some money right now. And then you spend the other 15, 20 hours a week that you would have normally spent in the business. You work in the business, but you're working in and on sales. You're going to networking events. You're shaking your right. And then you take that 15 hours a week you're working on the business right now, and you really work on it. Like you refine your operational processes.
the big job.
Yeah.
So we implemented demolition when I was in junk removal, and like the really big ones, I was actually out there tearing
You
down
love
buildings.
teams, yeah.
And my guys were out because I looked at the numbers, and yeah, it's fun to knock shit down, but at the same time, I'm having crews go out doing what they do best, no matter what, without a hitch, while I'm adding another $50K to my revenue stream, right? And it may take me a week, but I'm doing that because I'm like, look, this isn't something you can market really for, and you can't count on it to happen every month. For me, like big jobs. So you're like, you know what? I'm going to take this one for the team because I'm set up this way, right? So by getting out of the truck, you're not going to just not ever get back in the truck again.
No.
But what it's doing is saying, I need to automate my company without me being there. You have to be the last resort, pretty much. Yeah. Like right now, Andy wouldn't just go out on the truck unless he actually wanted to, or his guys just fucking left.
Yeah, the last couple of times I was on a truck, it was either myself or the operations person, right? And I'm not the operations person is a truly last line of defense. But unless I'm out actively training, I don't go to the fucking truck.
Yeah.
Like a couple weeks ago, I trained the guys how to use a hot tub dolly because I'm the only person in the company that knew how to use it that was on that job. I was like, oh, I'll show them how to use it, right? And it was fun. Like to Casey's point, yeah, it's fucking awesome. $1,350. Here's a funny story. I don't know what the what is that? The time? What is that when you can get sued after a certain amount of time? What is that fucking called? That's driving me nuts now.
Arbitration?
Not arbitration. After a certain amount of time, they can't come in after you. Anyways, I'm going to think of it as soon as we hang up on this podcast. The hot tub dolly company sent us 2 hot tub dollies like a year ago. Bought one, they sent us 2. And now we have a second hot tub dolly. So it's still sitting here in a box. I'll sell it to you half price. No, this fucker's got wheels. It's fucking nice. Nope. Trust me, $1,350. I'm like, I will never buy a fucking hot tub dolly. Previous owner bought it here. I found it right here. First, I typed in hot tub dolly. I'm not gonna lie, fucking life changer.
Send me a picture of that, Andy.
I'm pulling it up, Casey. We got fucking technology, baby. This is what we do. This is the exact one I have. God, it's fucking nice. They make them in Washington. Maybe they can send us a couple bucks, like a sponsor. Keep it classy here. Dude, I got 2 of them in my warehouse right now. One that's built. I wanted to pull up a bigger picture. One that's built, $1,350, worth every penny. Oh my God.
What is that? Like 3 hot tubs is paid off.
You know what? No injuries. That's what fucking paid off.
Yeah.
So easy. Fucking tall, skinny white guy like me can use it. All right. So we got into hot tub dollies. There you go. And a lot more time fucking around. Fuck around. So yeah. FADA, one of our acronyms we use around here, FADA, fucking around, dicking around. We don't want any more of it. All right. Speaking of fucking around, dicking around, we're coming up on the 1 hour mark. Griff, I'm tempted. I'll throw it out there because whatever, we don't rehearse shit. Casey, I'm tempted to do a 2-part episode here. Get Griff back on because we've only scratched the surface, and you are at the most critical part here, right? You're 6 months in the middle of the season, right, being July in the Midwest, and you're at this critical point of what do I do next? This is the place that some people desire to get to, and other people, they've been here, it's in their rearview mirror, and they don't know, they didn't know the choices they made that did or didn't work out. I would be tempted to have you on in another episode. I would love to hear what you're spending your money on, what thought the homework you have is, okay, do you buy a second truck? Do you bring on a second crew? What do you want to do? And what pitfalls do we anticipate seeing that you're going to get into? Because Casey and I have done it. So if you're open to it.
No matter how big you get in this business, Andy will tell you this, no matter what, whether you're shitty or whether you're great, it all comes down to people. If you don't got them, you're sucking. At your biggest moments and your smallest moments, when you don't have people, it sucks. So keep your bullpen full, man.
That's your line. It's all about people. Marketing is all about relationships, especially in junk removal. No one gives a shit about your fucking brand. They give a shit about the person. We actually had 2-3 episodes ago. We talked about that. that's fresh on my mind. So I just talked to a consultant about franchising. Like, what are your thoughts on franchising? Like, it's not fucking repeatable. Junk Removal Authority, those guys down there in Raleigh said it best. Unless your 800 got junk, it doesn't fucking matter. So, there you go. You know what? I would love to hear that from you in a couple of weeks. I'm speaking at JCon, the Junk Removal Convention. Shameless plug, October 12th through the 14th in Raleigh, North Carolina. The only reason I know that is because Emmy had booked my flights, and I'm going to go hang out with one of our good friends out there, James Feltz, in Raleigh, North Carolina. I've never been to Raleigh. So, yeah, JRA, Junk Removal Authority, this is not a plug for them. I'm just saying that I will be speaking at their conference, talk about the back end, how to make money on the back end. So if you are listening, watching this episode, and you want to come meet me in person, you're always welcome to come visit Milwaukee. If you're in Texas, let Casey know. He'll stop by and say hey. And if you're up in the Twin Cities or you want to grow your business, reach out to Griffin. Griffin, how can they get a hold of you?
Business-wise.
Business. Here's the deal. When you own a business, it's all the same. There you go. I like it.
Yeah.
All right. For Griffin, Casey, Bubba Lawrence, I'm Andy Weins. This has been another amazing, wonderful, adventurous episode of the Trash Talk Business Podcast. We'll see you next week.